Boundaries create respect, and respect builds lasting love. When you think about relationships that last, the ones where two people stay deeply connected through the highs and lows of life, what you're really seeing is a partnership built on mutual respect. And that respect doesn't come out of thin air. It's not given automatically just because two people like each other, or even because they say they love each other. Respect is earned, and the way it's earned is through the boundaries you set and the standards you refuse to compromise on. Without boundaries, love turns into chaos. Without boundaries, one person takes more while the other gives until they feel empty. But when you draw that line, when you say, "This is who I am, and this is how I deserve to be treated," you teach somebody how to value you. And once someone values you, they begin to respect you. And once they respect you, love grows stronger, deeper, and far more permanent. See, too often people mistake love for endless sacrifice. They think if they bend over backwards, if they allow everything, if they make themselves smaller just to please the other person, that's what will keep love alive. But the truth is the opposite. The more you erase your boundaries, the less a person respects you. And once respect is gone, love starts to fade, no matter how much affection or attraction was there in the beginning. Love cannot survive in an environment where respect is missing. But love can thrive for a lifetime when respect is nurtured every single day, and boundaries are the soil that keeps respect rooted. A boundary is not about control, it's about clarity. It's about saying, this is the line that protects my dignity, my peace, my self-worth. And the beauty of it is that people who truly care about you will never be offended by your boundaries. In fact, they'll appreciate them. They'll rise up to meet them, because deep down, people want to know where they stand. They want to know what's acceptable and what's not. And when you communicate that with confidence, it creates a safe environment. That safety turns into respect, and that respect transforms into love that doesn't just spark, but endures. Think about the strongest couples you've ever seen. They don't last because one partner let the other walk all over them. They don't last because one person gave up everything and lost themselves in the relationship. They last because both partners set boundaries, respected each other's boundaries, and built trust from that foundation. The respect created through boundaries builds a love that isn't shallow, isn't temporary, and isn't based on convenience. It's a love that lasts because both people understand each other's worth and treat each other accordingly. Now, let's be real. Boundaries aren't always easy to set. Sometimes you fear that if you say no, if you stand firm, you'll push the person away. But here's the truth. If someone leaves because you respected yourself enough to set a boundary, they were never meant to stay. You didn't lose them. You revealed them. The ones who truly love you will respect the line you draw. And not only will they respect it, they will actually love you more for it, because deep down they'll recognize your strength, your self-respect, and your clarity. Those are qualities that command admiration. Those are qualities that inspire someone to see you not as an option, but as a priority. When a person respects you, everything about the relationship changes. The conversations are different. The way they treat you is different. The way they commit is different. Respect is the glue that keeps love from falling apart when emotions fade, when the fire cools, or when life gets difficult. Attraction can bring two people together, but it's respect that keeps them together. Boundaries create that respect by showing that you value yourself, and if you value yourself, others will follow your lead. Imagine love as a house. Passion, chemistry, and affection may be the paint on the walls, the furniture, and the decorations. But respect, that's the foundation. Without it, the whole house will eventually collapse, and boundaries are the bricks laid into that foundation. Each time you stand firm on your values, each time you communicate what you will and won't accept, each time you refuse to compromise your dignity, you lay another brick. Over time, those bricks build a foundation so strong that no storm can shake it. That foundation becomes a love that stands tall, secure, and unbreakable. The truth is, lasting love isn't about grand gestures. It's not about the vacations, the gifts, or even the words "I love you" whispered at night. Lasting love is about how two people treat each other when no one is watching. It's about how consistently they honor and respect each other's boundaries. That quiet, steady respect builds trust. Trust builds safety. And safety builds a love that feels like home. That kind of love doesn't just burn bright for a season, it endures through every season. So when you ask yourself how to make love last, don't look to the big, flashy answers. Look to the simple truth: boundaries create respect, and respect builds lasting love. If you want a love that doesn't fade, a love that doesn't crumble when life gets tough, you have to start with boundaries. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are doors that allow the right people in and keep the wrong ones away. Boundaries say, if you want to love me, this is the way to do it. With respect, with honor, with care. And once that respect is established, love will not only grow, it will last. Saying no is often more powerful than saying yes. Most people grow up believing that saying yes is the key to keeping others happy, to maintaining relationships, and to being seen as loving and supportive. They think that every yes brings them closer to acceptance, closer to love, closer to security. But the truth is, every yes without boundaries chips away at your value, your energy, and your self-respect. The power of no is the power of self-preservation. It's the power of clarity, of knowing who you are and what you stand for. A yes might open doors, but a no defines the room you're willing to live in. When you say no, you are not just rejecting an action. You are affirming your worth. You're saying, I know what I deserve and I refuse to accept less. That refusal may sting in the moment, it may even cause some to walk away, but it sets the tone for the kind of love and life you will accept. Saying yes too often makes people comfortable with taking advantage of you. It makes them feel entitled to your time, your body, your energy, your peace. But when you begin to say no, you disrupt that entitlement. You remind people that your love is a choice, not a guarantee. Think about it like this. If every door in a house was left open, people would wander in and out freely without a second thought. They wouldn't value the home because it offered no boundaries. But when a door is locked, when access is controlled, the space inside becomes special, private, and meaningful. A no locks the door. It tells people they can't just walk in and take what they want, and because of that, when they do earn a yes, they value it far more. The truth is, saying no doesn't make you cold, it makes you respected. Saying no doesn't push the right people away, it filters out the wrong ones. Someone who genuinely loves you won't be threatened by your boundaries, they'll be drawn closer by them. They'll see your no as a sign of strength, and strength is attractive. It's attractive because it tells the world you're not desperate, you're not weak, you're not willing to be treated as less than you are. That kind of strength commands admiration, and admiration grows into respect, and respect becomes the seed of lasting love. Now, it's easy to say yes. Yes feels safe in the moment. Yes avoids conflict. Yes keeps the peace, but peace at the cost of your dignity is not real peace. Yes can be temporary comfort, but no is long. Firm security. Every no you speak is a declaration that you refuse to betray yourself. It tells others that your spirit, your time, and your body are not for free. They are gifts, and gifts must be earned. Saying no also teaches people that your love cannot be bought with convenience. Anybody can say yes and give everything away, but it takes strength to refuse. When you say no, you challenge others to rise up to your level. You challenge them to treat you better, to respect your boundaries, to value your presence. And when someone is willing to meet that challenge, you don't just build a connection, you build a bond that lasts. Think about how many relationships fall apart because someone was too afraid to say no. They kept saying yes to behavior that disrespected them. They kept saying yes to giving more while receiving less. They kept saying yes to being treated like an option, hoping one day it would turn into priority. But hope doesn't build respect. Boundaries do, and boundaries are drawn with the word no. The power of no prevents resentment from building, because resentment is born when you give more than you're willing to give, when you keep saying yes while your heart is screaming no. No also protects your energy. You only have so much to give, and when you give it all away without discernment, you drain yourself. A drained person cannot love deeply, cannot connect fully, cannot give genuinely. But a person who knows when to say no protects their peace, protects their spirit, and shows up in love whole and complete. Wholeness is attractive. Completeness is magnetic. People are drawn to those who know how to preserve themselves, because it communicates that if you can honor yourself, you will also know how to honor them. In love, the no is not rejection. It is direction. It steers relationships toward mutual respect. It shows people how to engage with you. It communicates what is sacred, what is off limits, and what must be cherished. The more you practice saying no, the more people learn to value your yes. Because when your yes is rare, it's meaningful. When your yes is thoughtful, it's precious. A yes without boundaries becomes meaningless over time, but a no ensures that every yes carries weight. So many people fear that saying no will make them lose love, but the truth is, no doesn't make you lose love, it makes you find real love. Because real love cannot exist without respect, and respect cannot exist without boundary. The wrong people will be offended by your no, but the right ones will be inspired by it. And when someone is inspired by your strength, when they see that you won't bend to everything they want, that inspiration grows into admiration, that admiration turns into respect, and respect lays the foundation for a love that endures. Men don't fall for access, they fall for standards. Access alone is never enough to hold someone's attention, let alone their heart. Too many people confuse being available with being valuable. They think that the more they give, the more they allow, the more they open themselves up without conditions, the stronger the bond will be. But the truth is, when there are no standards, access loses its meaning. Anything that comes too easily, anything that costs nothing, is rarely appreciated for long. What makes someone stop, respect, and truly fall in love is not how much access you give, but the standards you uphold while giving it. Standards are what set you apart. They are the invisible boundaries that tell the world who you are, what you believe, and what you will or will not tolerate. Standards are not about arrogance, they are about self-respect. When a man sees a woman with clear standards, he sees someone who values herself enough not to be swayed by temporary emotions or shallow promises. That kind of presence demands admiration, and admiration is what makes feelings grow into something deep and lasting. Access without standards may spark interest for a moment, but standards ignite respect, and respect is what transforms interest into commitment. Think about it. If you walk into a store and everything is on the floor, nothing has a price tag, and you can take whatever you want, you won't see much value in what's there. You might pick up a few things, but they won't mean much to you because there was no cost. But if you walk into another store where everything is carefully displayed, valued, and protected, you immediately understand that what you're dealing with has worth. You treat it differently, and when you buy it, you take care of it because it required effort. Relationships are no different. A man won't fall in love with the person who simply grants unlimited access without asking for respect. He falls in love with the person who makes him rise to her standards, because in rising, he feels growth, and in growth, he feels love. Standards are not about playing games or making things difficult. They are about showing that you know your worth, and that anyone who comes into your life must recognize it too. A man may enjoy easy access for a while, but enjoyment is not the same as love. Love is built when he realizes that your time, your energy, and your presence are not things he can take for granted. They come with responsibility. They come with accountability. They come with the expectation that he must respect what you've set as non-negotiable. That sense of accountability makes him see you not as someone temporary, but as someone he can't imagine losing. When you give access without standards, you teach someone that your love has no requirements. And anything without requirements is disposable. But when you set standards, you teach them that your love is valuable, that your presence has weight, and that being with you is a privilege, not a guarantee. Privileges are earned, and what is earned is cherished. Men don't fall in love with what they can get easily. They fall in love with what they have to grow to deserve. The truth is, the strongest relationships are not built on how quickly you give access, but on how firmly you uphold your standards. Because standards shape behavior, they tell someone what is acceptable and what isn't. Without them, there is no structure, no guidance, no reason for someone to treat you with consistent respect. With them, everything changes. A man will adjust, he will rise, he will commit differently because he understands that to be in your life, he has to meet the mark you've set. And in striving to meet it, he not only grows closer to you, but he grows as a man. That growth ties him to you because he doesn't just see you as a partner. He sees you as someone who inspires him to be better. The reality is that access may attract, but standards sustain. Anyone can gain access to someone's time or attention, but not everyone can hold on to it. The difference lies in whether standards are present. Standards are what filter out the temporary from the permanent, the shallow from the serious, the opportunist from the committed. A man might enjoy someone who gives him everything without effort, but he won't respect her the way he respects the woman who made him earn her trust, her time, and her love. And respect is the foundation that love is built on. You see, men don't truly fall for beauty alone, or charm alone, or even kindness alone. Those things might draw him in, but they don't keep him. What keeps him is the standard you hold for yourself, and the way you require him to honor it. Standards tell him that if he wants to be in your world, he has to bring his best self. And when he brings his best self, he sees the relationship not as casual, but as sacred. That shift changes everything. It turns attraction into commitment, and it turns temporary feelings into lasting love. So the real question isn't how much access you should give, but what standards you are upholding while you give it. Because without standards, access means nothing. But with standards, even the smallest access becomes meaningful, even the smallest yes carries weight. Men don't fall for the doors you leave open, they fall for the value of what's inside. And that value is defined by your standards. Boundaries push away the wrong ones and attract the right one. When you think about it, a boundary is not just a line you draw for yourself, it's also a filter. It separates those who are truly meant for you from those who are only passing through. Boundaries test people not with words but with actions. The ones who are not serious, the ones who only want convenience, the ones who look for easy access, they fall off the moment they run into your boundary. And that is exactly what's supposed to happen, because the wrong ones can never stay when they realize you will not lower your standards for them. Boundaries are like a doorway with a guard. Everyone can approach, but not everyone can enter. The wrong ones want to slip through without effort, without commitment, without respect. But the moment you stand firm and say, no, not here, not like that, they walk away, and as painful as that might feel at first, it's actually a blessing. Every time the wrong one leaves, you make space for the right one. Because the right one won't see your boundaries as obstacles, they'll see them as guidance. They'll respect the guard at the door, because they understand that what's inside is worth protecting. People often fear that setting boundaries will make them lose love. But the truth is, boundaries don't make you lose love. They protect you from losing yourself. When someone is wrong for you, your boundaries expose them quickly. They get frustrated, impatient, or offended, because they weren't looking to give what you deserve in the first place. And that's the gift of boundaries, they reveal intentions. Without them, it could take months or years to discover someone's true colors. With them, you find out much faster who is willing to step up and who is only wasting time. The right person will not run from your boundaries. They will respect them. They will appreciate that you value yourself enough to set them. In fact, those boundaries will make them lean in closer because they see that you are not desperate for love, you are intentional about love. And intentional love is the only kind that lasts. The right one will meet your boundaries with patience, with consistency, and with commitment because they recognize your worth. They understand that love is not about how much they can take, but about how much they can give. Imagine your boundaries like a fence around a garden. The wrong people want to trample through, picking flowers without care, leaving the soil damaged. But the fence keeps them out. It may frustrate them, but that's not your concern. The right person, though, will see the fence and respect it. They'll knock on the gate, they'll wait to be let in, and when they do enter, they'll take care of what's inside because they understand that it's valuable. The fence didn't keep love away. It protected love until it was safe to let it grow. Without boundaries, you become open to anyone and everyone, and not everyone deserves that access. Boundaries protect your time, your energy, and your heart. They make it clear that if someone wants to stay, they have to meet certain standards, and that requirement is not about making things difficult. It's about protecting what matters most. The wrong one will see those requirements as too much. The right one will see them as exactly what they've been looking for. Boundaries also serve another purpose. They help you identify who is serious. The wrong person will say all the right things, but their actions will crumble when faced with your limits. They may promise patience, promise respect, promise love, but the moment you say, "This is where I stand," they will show their true nature. The right one, however, won't just talk. They'll act. They'll prove through consistency that your boundaries are not a problem for them. They'll adjust, they'll respect, they'll honor your standards because they see your value. Too often, people think they are being abandoned when someone leaves after a boundary is set. But that's not abandonment, it's revelation. You didn't lose someone real, you lost someone who was never truly invested. That's freedom, not loss. Every no you speak, every limit you hold, every boundary you enforce removes people who don't belong. And what's left is the space for the right one to come in and stay. The right one will never demand that you break your boundaries. They won't pressure you, manipulate you, or guilt you into lowering your standards. Instead, they will honor them because they see that those boundaries are what make you strong, what make you valuable, what make you who you are. They won't want to change that, they'll want to protect it. And in protecting it, they protect the relationship. Love that lasts cannot exist without boundaries, because boundaries are what keep it healthy. They guard against disrespect, dishonesty, and inconsistency. They ensure that what you build is not fragile, but solid. And the beauty of boundaries is that they work like magnets. They repel what's wrong, but they draw in what's right. They save you from wasting time on people who are not serious, while attracting the one who is ready to meet you where you stand. So when you feel afraid of setting limits, remember this. Your boundaries are not costing you love. They are creating the conditions for real love to find you. The wrong ones will always walk away when they can't cross your line, but the right one will always step forward, not to break it, but to honor it. Boundaries don't just protect your heart, they direct it to the love it was meant to have. Love without boundaries is not a relationship, it's just access. When you remove boundaries, you don't create closeness, you create chaos. You don't build intimacy, you create imbalance. 2. Often people confuse giving someone unlimited access with building a real relationship. But the truth is, unlimited access without expectations doesn't create love. It creates entitlement. If there are no boundaries in place, then what you call love is nothing more than one person taking and the other person giving until there's nothing left. A relationship built on access alone has no structure, no respect, no foundation to last. Boundaries are what separate love from convenience. Without them, someone can step into your life, take your time, take your energy, take your body, and take your peace, and never be required to give anything in return. They can enjoy the benefits of your presence without carrying the responsibility of commitment. That's not love, that's access. And when a person only has access to you without any requirement to honor, protect, and respect you, they don't see your value. They see your availability. Availability without boundaries is an open invitation for misuse, and the longer you allow it, the harder it becomes to pull back and demand what you deserve. A relationship requires balance, and balance is created by boundaries. When you say, "This is what I accept, this is what I won't accept," you are shaping the framework of what love will look like between you and another person. Without that framework, the relationship falls apart the moment pressure hits. Because when everything is allowed, there's nothing holding the bond together. Boundaries are not walls meant to block love. They are walls meant to protect it. They keep the wrong behaviors out so the right kind of love can grow within. Love without boundaries is exhausting. It drains you because you're constantly giving, constantly bending, constantly sacrificing without seeing reciprocity. And the scary part is, sometimes people convince themselves that this sacrifice is what love is supposed to be. They think that allowing everything is proof of devotion. But true devotion doesn't come from losing yourself. It comes from protecting yourself enough that you can show up whole. When you have no boundaries, you slowly disappear in the name of love. But when you set boundaries, you preserve your identity, your dignity, and your strength. That preservation is what makes your love sustainable. Think about any strong structure, whether it's a house, a bridge, or even a city. There are rules, codes, and guidelines that keep everything standing. Without those, collapse is inevitable. Relationships work the same way. Without rules and limits, the connection doesn't last. It may feel good in the moment, but over time it begins to crack. Boundaries are those rules, those guidelines that keep everything in order. They make sure that love is not just a feeling, but a structure that can carry the weight of real life. Access without commitment often feels flattering at first. Someone wants you, someone calls you, someone desires you. But desire without respect fades quickly. When a person doesn't have to meet any standard to gain access to you, they won't value what they've been given. They'll treat it as temporary, replaceable, or disposable. But when you require respect, when you draw clear lines, when you establish that access must come with honor, then the dynamic changes. That's when access turns into responsibility, and responsibility is what separates a casual connection from a committed relationship. It's important to remember that love is not about how much you give without limit. It's about how much both people pour in within the boundaries that protect the relationship. A relationship where anything goes is not stable, it's reckless. Real love requires discipline. It requires both people to understand what is acceptable and what is not. And the beauty of boundaries is that they don't weaken love, they strengthen it. They prevent disrespect, they prevent confusion, they prevent misuse. They make sure that love has room to grow without being trampled. People sometimes fear that boundaries will push others away. But the truth is, if someone leaves because of your boundaries, they were never invested in loving you in the first place. What they wanted was access without accountability, and losing that isn't a loss, it's protection. The person who is meant to love you will not be intimidated by your standards. They will embrace them because they see that boundaries are not barriers, they are signs of self-worth. They are proof that you value yourself, and that makes you more valuable to them. Love is not measured by how much you let slide. Love is measured by how much both people honor what matters to each other. And the only way to create that honor is through boundaries. Without them, you don't have love. You have permission for someone to do whatever they please. That's not a relationship, that's access. Real love requires respect, and respect cannot exist without limits. So if you want love that lasts, love that builds, love that strengthens you instead of drains you, you cannot afford to erase your boundaries. They are not optional. They are the very thing that makes love real. Self-respect teaches others how to treat you. Every single relationship you have, whether romantic, family, or friendship, is shaped by the way you value yourself. If you don't see yourself as worthy, if you don't set the tone for how you should be treated, then others will create their own rules. and those rules will never favor you. People take cues from you. They watch how you carry yourself, how you speak about yourself, how you allow others to interact with you, and they mirror that back. If you consistently compromise your dignity, if you settle for less than you deserve, you silently tell the world that it's acceptable to treat you that way. But when you walk in self-respect, you communicate without words that anything beneath respect is unacceptable. Self-respect is not arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than others. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to discount it for the sake of temporary affection. When you truly respect yourself, you don't beg for attention, you don't chase love, and you don't settle for scraps. You know that what you bring to the table has value, and you carry yourself in a way that demands recognition of that value. People can feel it. They can sense when you are grounded in self-worth, and that sense changes the way they engage with you. It forces them to rise to your level if they want to stay in your life. Think about how people treat valuable things. A diamond isn't left lying around where anyone can grab it. It's placed in a secure case, admired, and handled with care. A luxury car isn't tossed to anyone without a license. It comes with conditions, insurance, and rules. Why? Because value demands respect. If something is treated carelessly, it's often because it wasn't presented as valuable to begin with. In the same way, if you don't respect yourself, people won't treat you with care. But when you hold yourself like something priceless, they cannot help but treat you differently. The truth is, most of the mistreatment people experience doesn't start because others are inherently cruel. It starts because they failed to set the example of how they should be treated. They allowed behaviors once, twice, 3 times, until those behaviors became normal. Every time you let disrespect slide, every time you accept less than you deserve, you train people to believe it's acceptable. Self-respect, on the other hand, draws the line. It says, this is how you will engage with me, or you won't engage at all. That clarity is what prevents people from taking advantage of you. Self-respect also creates trust. People may not always agree with your standards, but they will respect the fact that you have them. They will trust that you are not a pushover, not easily manipulated, and not easily swayed by flattery or pressure. That trust builds stronger, healthier relationships because people know where they stand with you. They know what's expected, and they know that if they want a place in your life, they must earn it with consistency and respect. In love, self-respect is one of the most attractive qualities you can have. When you respect yourself, you don't just accept anyone who shows you interest. You don't confuse attention with affection or affection with commitment. You make it clear that love must come with honor, loyalty, and responsibility. That clarity separates the temporary from the permanent. The ones who only want convenience will leave when they see your self-respect, but the one who is serious will be drawn in by it. Because self-respect doesn't just protect you, it also inspires others. It makes someone want to rise up to give you the treatment you clearly deserve. Self-respect also prevents resentment. Too often, people give and give, hoping that their generosity will earn love. But when they don't receive the same treatment in return, bitterness builds. They feel unappreciated, unseen, and undervalued. But the truth is, if you never respected yourself enough to demand balance, then you created the environment for imbalance to thrive. Self-respect keeps resentment from taking root because it ensures you never give more than you're willing to, and you never stay where you're undervalued. It creates relationships built on equality, not on one person draining the other. Even in difficult situations, self-respect is what gives you the courage to walk away. It reminds you that being alone is better than being disrespected. It gives you the strength to leave environments where your worth is ignored, because you know you can't force someone to value you if you don't first value yourself. And the moment you step out of a situation where your self-respect was compromised, you open the door for something better to come. The way you treat yourself also sets an example for those around you. If you love yourself openly, care for yourself consistently, and honor your own boundaries, the people in your life learn that's the standard. They learn that kindness, patience, and respect are the only acceptable currencies in your world. But if you neglect yourself, allow constant disrespect, and ignore your own needs, others will assume that's normal, and they'll continue treating you that way. Self-respect is a silent teacher. You don't have to shout it, you don't have to argue about it, you don't even have to explain it. You live it, you embody it, and when you embody it, people have no choice but to adjust. They either rise to treat you the way you treat yourself, or they remove themselves from your life. And either way, you win. Because the ones who stay will love you right, and the ones who leave were never capable of loving you at all.